A murder victim in Florida identified.
Shocked and stunned is an understatement for myself and my family.
After more than 4 decades. A different kind of play.
There's big volumes of them without a diagnosis.
Opening doors for local children with autism. An officer giving something huge.
There's no word. You can never say enough that, to thank someone.
To a man who has given so much to his community. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Laura Palfrey.
I'm Kenneth Bueno. Happy Pi Day. Today is Thursday, March 14th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Finding closure, detectives here in South Florida not only cracking a cold case, but bringing peace to a family after more than 40 years. After 4 decades, a fatal shooting victim near Vero Beach has been identified.
In 1982, officers discovered a body in a canal near State Road 60 in Indian River County. Using genetic testing that wasn't available 42 years ago, officers located the surviving relatives of Evelyn Townsend, who was 43 at the time of her death. The next mission for deputies is to identify Evelyn's killer.
We have new people of persons of interest that we've identified. Unfortunately, they are deceased, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop trying to find out what happened to her and how she ended up out.
The Indian River County Sheriff says knowing who the shooting victim is a big first step in their investigation.
According to the National Autism Association, the rate of autism has steadily grown over the last 20 years. It now affects 1 in 36 children compared to the 1 in 150 average diagnosis back in 2000. Caplin News reporter Samantha Gutierrez spoke with a music therapist who teaches kids on the spectrum.
I'm here at the Bass Museum's Creativity Center, where Paloma Dueñas, a music therapist and multidisciplinary artist, works with kids and their parents doing sensory activities.
Triangle. In the museum, these 2 and 3 year olds, developmentally, like brain-wise, will be a lot like a child with autism. A child, the brain at that age is very much into the sensory exploration, learning about the senses.
For 8 years, Paloma worked in Crystal Academy, a school in Coral Gables specialized in autism. She credits her success in the Bass Museum to her extensive experience.
I found this job for a research for children between 2 and 5 years old, like preschool, and how would they learn through the arts. Music therapy is the use of music for non-musical purposes. Paloma has been a music therapist for 22 years. This number of how many kids through my career have drastically increased. According to the CDC, the prevalence of autism in the U.S. has risen from 1 to 150 children in 2000 to 1 in 36 children in 2020. The school system is not ready. There's big volumes of them without a diagnosis. We need alternative ways of learning overall. The Bass Museum's Creativity Center also invites therapists and parents into the sessions to help these kids on the spectrum participate and enjoy art. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
Given the increased violence in Haiti, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is implementing measures to guard against a potential surge of Haitian immigrants. Governor DeSantis is deploying additional resources to Florida's southern coast to combat illegal immigration. This includes over 250 officers and soldiers, along with air and sea defense efforts. Despite the initiative, the Coast Guard reports no recent increase in migration from Haiti.
Hunter Biden is saying no to an invitation to attend a public hearing before Congress, with his attorney describing it as a, quote, circus act. During a 6-hour closed-door deposition last month, the president's son answered all the questions posed by Republicans in the House Oversight and Judiciary Committee's impeachment inquiry into his father. Hunter's attorneys criticized the chairman for inviting former business partners to the hearing. He denies any claims of his father's involvement in his overseas business dealings.
This morning, friends, family, and loved ones celebrate the life of Breonna Taylor after her death 4 years ago. Many from the community, including the Grand Rapids police chief, gathered on the street bearing Breonna Taylor's name yesterday. The city mourned the loss of Taylor after she was killed in 2020 by a police raid in her Louisville, Kentucky apartment. Breonna's sister, Dee Dee Taylor, explains that each year this day will serve as a celebration of her life.
I wish I could have gave her one last hug. I wish I could have had one last phone call. I wish I could have just known that something like this will happen, because I'll have the opportunity just to share with her how much I love her and appreciate her, and I'm proud of her.
Dee Dee adds that the best way for her to honor her sister is to enact change so no one has to go through what her family did.
A license in place this morning as SpaceX is set to launch its flagship rocket for a third test flight. The company's Starship rocket received permission from the Federal Aviation Administration to launch yesterday. Starship is also a part of NASA's Artemis lunar program. The flight will land in the Indian Ocean after the last 2 tests resulted in explosions, with a plan to land in the water near Hawaii.
A deputy honored this morning after an act of kindness that saved a life. As WBRZ's Abigail Witham reports, a deputy did this for an absolute stranger.
In November, high school football coach Herbert Davis received a phone call that would change his life.
You know, you had your doubts, would you ever get one, and but we just stayed faith in the Lord, and got the call in late November.
The news? That someone was donating a kidney to him.
Oh, it's very emotional. I waited 5 years, did dialysis 5 nights a week for 4 hours at a time.
The hero was a stranger and also a law enforcement officer, Captain Patrick Johnson of the Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Office.
As I told him when he came to see me before I got out of the hospital, I mean, there's no words. You can never say enough that, to thank someone. But it's an unbelievable thing to be able to do that for someone.
And you'll never believe why Johnson said he chose to give up one of his organs.
NYPD detective had done the same thing, and I thought about it, and it was just kind of one of those things that never really left my mind. And in fact, it kind of built up steam as time went on. And so I prayed about it and researched it, and I was just being led that direction.
He was one of 14 officers from around the state recognized for their acts of kindness at the annual Beyond the Badge luncheon in Baton Rouge.
I'm just one of many. I'm not anything special. It's there's guys out there. We saw 13 other people today that got recognized for what they do, and in fact, there's thousands more that don't even get that recognition, that do these kinds of things every day, that wear a badge.
Abigail Whittam, WBRZ News 2.
After a tie in their first Champions Cup match, Inter Miami and Nashville had to play an elimination game here in South Florida.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
They didn't quit even in practice, even if, we're all tired and hurt and, sad and we're, exhausted, they still tried. And I think that speaks a lot to how they won that national championship.
A whole lot of spirit packed into some pint-sized cheerleaders. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
A big accomplishment this morning coming from a group of tiny athletes. A young cheer squad in Nevada is working on potentially obtaining a third title.
As KTNV's Kelsey McFarland reports, they have won back-to-back titles for 2 years.
This gym is home to some young ladies who have worked very hard to make a big impact. Your back-to-back national champions, the Green Valley Christian Elementary School Guardians. They may be small in size, but their spirit is larger than life.
2, 3, 4. I feel very proud of me and my teammates.
1, 2, 3. 9 girls on this team get a back handspring within 3 months, which is really unreal and unheard of.
It was this performance that earned a second national title for the Green Valley Christian Elementary cheer team, comprised of 2nd to 5th graders.
A lot of hours.
A lot of hours.
Coaches Alicia Curry and Ashley Advent say months of dedication and maximum effort got the Guardians to this point.
They competed almost every single weekend between January and February leading up until nationals.
Didn't stop coming to practice. They didn't quit even in practice, even if, we're all tired and hurt and, sad and we're, exhausted. They still tried, and I think that speaks a lot to how they won that national championship.
Through the cheers and the tears, a lot of character is built in the long hours.
Maybe your friends are hanging out with each other on the weekends and now you're at a cheer competition, but they learn that there are, things to work for, things that are worth more than others to you, and it's okay to have different priorities than people.
And then you still have to do the homework. The homework is hard.
For 4th grader Amelia and her teammates, it also means a lot of lessons are learned along the way.
To trust my friends and to push myself to do better.
There's practices that don't go your way. You have to come back with, that positive mindset that we can be better, we're going to make it better, and I think that carries throughout your whole life.
The cheer squad is now working towards a 3rd national title, coming into next season as better cheerleaders.
I'm so grateful that we at least have coaches to help us learn and do cheer.
And better humans.
We're going for a 3-peat.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Yeah. Reporting in Henderson, I'm Kelsey McFarland.
Let's go!
Inter Miami shows a dominant performance on the pitch against Nashville SC for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. After being sat out due to a leg injury, superstar Lionel Messi returned to the field and helped the team put Nashville away. The Herons put 3 in the back of the net while leaving Nashville to only score in extra time. The final score was Inter Miami 3, Nashville 1. Messi and the team will go to the nation's capital to play DC United on Saturday at 2 p.m.
The Heat's search for gold came up empty in a finals rematch with the Denver Nuggets at home. It was a defensive contest that went back and forth. Similar to the last meeting between the squads, Miami held on to a 4-point lead by the 3rd quarter off of a 12-2 run, but crucial buckets from Denver sealed a double-digit win. Bam Adebayo led the way for the Heat with 17 points and 13 boards. The final score at the Kaseya Center was Denver 100, Heat 88. Miami looks to rebound in the game versus the league-worst Detroit Pistons tomorrow at 7 p.m. Stick around, you're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
I could really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes?
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Pantotech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Well, that's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Kenneth Bueno.
I'm Laura Palfrey. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.